Hey, Prince Magnum, what's the next project on Project Spirit? Well, stick around, we're going to cover that. Hello once again, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel, where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to Do-It-Yourself Budget Hot Rodding, and on Do-It-Yourself Budget Hot Rodding, the car that everybody loves to talk about is none other than this car right here. That's right, folks, that is my 1975 Ford Maverick, better known as Project Spirit. Project Spirit has been around a long time here on the Prince Magnum channel. As the filming of this video, she's been with us for 4 years. That's a long time. Also, while we're on the subject of milestones for Project Spirit is, believe it or not, 45 years old. She still looks pretty good, you know, for a 45-year-old. Still looks pretty, you know. And when you're talking 45-year-old cars, you know, not all of them look that good after all this amount of time. But I digress. One of the things that's been holding Project Spirit back is, you know, like a lot of cars her age, things wear out, they break. Shoot, in a lot of cases, you don't need, you know, 45 years for a part to break or wear out and cause you problems. A lot of cases you don't even need 20. You know, Project Lena has got several bugs in her that we actually have to work out now because, you know, just the way it is. You know, cars wear out. They need TLC. So that being said, Project Spirit is no different. 45 years later, we have to replace her ignition switch, you know, which is mounted on her steering column. That being said, because of the fact that, you know, we have to replace her ignition switch, we could go in and take the whole steering column apart, go in and manually remove that bad boy out, put in a new one, be just fine. But one of the other problems that we've struggled with is there's a rod that runs from the ignition down to the box itself on the steering column, and that particular box, the rod that goes to it is a little bent, worn out. You know, it's not in the shape that it once was. From continual usage over the years, it's wore out. So what do? Well, we could replace, you know, take that rod out, straighten it, hopefully, maybe, I don't know. Or we could come up with our own custom setup, which is something that us old hot rodders have done numerous times. And as a matter of fact, one of those hot rodding ideas seems to have made its way into newer modern vehicles. The use of a key and a starter switch. This is a not uncommon practice now. You see it in new vehicles all the time. It's a little bit more technical in newer vehicles, but the old school design was you took the key switch, and sometimes you left it on the column, sometimes you didn't. But you turned the, in this particular case, where the radio used to be is where we're going to mount it. Now, in this particular video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how we mount this, and we're going to walk you up to the point, because the next step after this video is Project Spirit has to go to a shop and have these new parts wired in. We'll talk more about that at the end of this do-it-yourself part of the video. So stick around and you'll see how we did it.
Okay folks, let's talk about what you're actually seeing. Basically, I've sped the time up, as a lot of us on YouTube will do. I've got a section of metal that I bought just in case of such an occasion, and right now I'm actually trying to cut a section of metal out so I can begin forming that ignition panel. But as usual, we find out that sometimes there's a reason why certain tools are on sale. This is one of those times. That's as far as I could get with the cordless drill that Princess Faye had purchased, and this thing is an absolute joke. So what ended up happening is I ended up having to switch over to my little Great Neck rotary tool that I got from Walmart. From there, I was able to finish out cutting that piece out, but that was a rough cut. So from there, it's time to begin grinding it, trying to get it as close to that line as possible, while still trying to make it as straight as possible. So thus begins the long-winded process of trying to do that. And believe me when I say I sped this up ×4, and through the course of several days and several man hours, I was finally able to complete this. So that's exactly what you're actually seeing, is me continually working, trying to grind that plate down to the exact size, shape, and to make everything as smooth as possible, no jagged edges. And of course, we'll talk more about that as the video progresses. Alright folks, this is about the part of the video that I finally had enough, and I went out and bought a set of 10 snips for like a couple of dollars from Walmart, and it just went really quick. When I say 10 snips, some people call them aviator shears, metal shears, whatever you want to call them. I've always known them as 10 snips, so that's what I got. And when I say it went quick, I trimmed it up as close to where I needed it as possible. Took my rotary tool, ground it down where I needed it. It went exceptionally fast from there. So again, from this point, I'm going to continue to let the video run and you know, kind of clue you guys in when it comes time to actually drilling those holes. You'll see kind of like an early fit where I get an idea, you know, looking at it, and then of course at the end of the video, you'll actually get to see it mounted with the switches in place, but they're not hooked up yet. We'll talk more about that as the video progresses. Alright, as I had said earlier, this is about the time I started drilling holes. Decided where the holes were going to be after looking at that plate and just went to town. Let me also say that I cussed this cordless drill out regularly through this project, and eventually I just went out and bought a regular corded drill. Folks, for whatever reason, something about the Black & Decker drills that just aren't as good as they used to be, and that's a company I trusted. Notice I said did trust, and as a matter of fact, even Princess Faye is like, I've always heard you say good about them, and I bought this with the understanding that these. I said, yeah, I said, but that just goes to show that things don't stay the same. So that's where that ended up becoming a problem, and then from there, tapping the holes for where the actual ignition switches are going to go. What ended up happening was I ended up using the largest drill that I had, and it still wasn't big enough. And then I had to take my rotary tool and just kind of grind it out to the right size that I needed. And ironically enough, I got the holes almost perfectly circular, which is amazing because I'm never really that good at making a circle. So I got them pretty doggone close, and fit the switches in, decided that I liked them, and then of course by the tail end of the video you'll actually get to see kind of like the switches mounted into place on the panel in Project Spirit, which as the making of this video, that's where that plate is. So here, one of the next videos that'll be coming up, you'll actually get to see those parts working, and and how it all comes together. We're also going to be taking that plate back off, and I'll be doing a hard sand and grind to it again to get a nice mirror look. And then of course we're going to be painting it, and then once it's painted, Princess Faye will do some artwork and it'll be cleared. And again, it'll be perfect for car shows, which is, Project Spirit's bread and butter, is doing car shows. So again, I'm going to sit back and let the music and video kind of take over from here, and we'll talk a little bit more towards the end of the video.
All right. I hope y'all enjoyed that. That was, there was a lot of headaches in doing this part of the project, but in the end, we have our own custom part. It's a one of a kind, okay? And the way that it'll be set up and detailed and everything at a future date, this makes Project Spirit, again, that much more of a one of a kind. See, a lot of you young people out there want your own one of a kind car. Well, we're showing you how to do it, okay? So now you have no excuse. If you have your classic car, or maybe it's a more modern car, and I say modern because to me anything after 1990 is pretty modern, but whatever modern is to you, and you're having troubles with your ignition, and you can easily bypass some of that stuff, now you know how to start that process. Because even though I don't know how to wire that stuff, it doesn't mean I can't get that much closer and make the job for those guys in the shop easier and save myself money in the long run. Because that's the objective with do-it-yourself budget hot rodding. Having your classic car, or your cool custom car for that matter, without paying so much gosh dang money. If you like this sort of thing, be sure to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, and be sure to ring that bell, because unfortunately here on YouTube, the bell, the subscribe button doesn't mean as much as it used to. Along with that, if you're fairly new to the Prince Magnum channel, be sure to check out these fine following folks. These folks right here, they're hard-working cogs within the Maverick Nation. They work very diligently to get the word of the Prince Magnum channel out to the rest of the public and around the world. So these fine folks right here continue to help the Prince Magnum channel grow at an exponential rate. Along with that, be sure to check out my old partner, Mr. Sketch Scars himself, Jammin' John of Sketch Squad TV. This guy, he does the AWO Liberty Hour. He's also the pioneer of 4G LTE mobile live streaming. Along with that, this guy's from another planet. I don't know any other way to describe Jammin' John, but he is a long time, he is now a long-time partner of the Prince Magnum channel. Be sure to check him out, because he's always, he's always up to something. What I do with cars, he does with computers. And if y'all haven't figured it out by now, I'm always thinking of how to make a car run that much better. All right. Wow. Lots in this video. And as always, get out there and work on a project. I don't care what it is. Just do something with yourself. Remember, idle hands and a creative mind go together like oil and water. If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet and do something special for them today. And as always, for all of you out there, no matter what you're experiencing, no matter where you are in your life, if no one out there has told you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you, and have a happy 24. Thank you.
Man. Wow, man, freaked out.